If you heard anything I said, that was about the book.
That's sick. What other books do you have planned to read this year?
I've been getting into smut.
Really?
Yeah, dude.
Oh shit.
some literary erotica, man.
Interesting.
Shit's rad.
That's sick.
Yeah.
That's sick. I've definitely had some smutty points in books that I've read that I've been like, oh, this is cool. This is what it's all about. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm reading like too many books right now.
Oh yeah.
I just started like 3 books the other night and got like
How do you
4
do that?
chapters into each one.
So like, were they all just not good after chapter 4?
I just like, no, I was like, it was one of those nights where I was like really looking for a movie to watch and I couldn't find anything. And I looked for like an hour and a half on like all the different streaming platforms. And I was like, you know what? Fuck a movie. I'm going to pick up a book. And then I started reading a book that was like about it's the story of like a part-time Indian or whatever. It's about this kid.
What does the cover look like? I've read that.
It's like a little toy Indian. And it's
Yeah.
So I started reading that one, and it's really good.
Part-time American Truth of something.
Yeah. It's really good. It's about this kid who is like, has some like serious like physical disabilities and like brain damage and stuff, but like is still really smart and essentially is growing up on the Spokane Indian reservation, and he like switches. He gets into high school and realizes like, they don't have the money here at this school for me to like learn the stuff that I want to learn. So he transfers to like a white school in Spokane, and he like goes from being like, the butt of every joke in the res to being the butt of every joke in the white school. And I got like pretty far, like maybe like 4 or 5 chapters into it. And I was like, this is sad kind of. And it was also uplifting, but it's also like, okay, I'm going to switch it up. I want to read something more fiction-y. So then I started reading this book over here.
Well, for what it's worth, I remember reading that first book in middle school, not to be a dick, but it was really good. You just got to finish it.
This was like 2 days ago, man.
I know.
Okay.
I'm just saying that it seems like the theme is sticking to the first 4 chapters of every book.
Well, sometimes you start a book and then...
Also, don't get fucking at me when I'm just saying it gets good. Goodness. Sorry about the middle school jab. That was a little silly, whatever.
Yeah.
Dick powers.
Then I started reading this one. And I didn't get nearly as far into this one.
What is this one called?
This one is called The Echo Maker. And it's basically about the guy who gets into a car crash. And then some like crazy shit starts happening with like, he like has like these fucking like powers from this like traumatic head injury and stuff. I don't know. I haven't gotten fully into it yet, but it's supposed to be really good. And then I finished Dirty Daddy, which is Bob Saget's memoir. And I had like a couple chapters left in it. So I just finished that one off. It's like, that one's good, but it definitely took me a while to finish it because I feel like it just wasn't like super captivating in the storytelling. Like it was like very broken up in like different sections of his life and stuff, and like kind of jumped around a lot. So it was tougher to finish, but it was still good. There was a lot of funny moments.
Yeah. Book number 4.
Book number 4 was it was a manga.
That is a anime comic book, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Japanese comic book.
Yeah.
Basically.
Okay.
I just read like half of the original Dragon Ball.
Well, if I also think I know them like I think I do, if you look at where you bookmarked the page, it probably looks like you're at the end of the book.
That's true.
So.
That's true.
Do you read that one right to left? Cool. Wait, so is it like you just start on the other
You
side?
start on the back, yeah, and you read the opposite direction, and it's like, it's more like up and down than it is like right to left.
Make that make sense.
So like you go like down and then
So like, to just say what we both just said, just make that make sense. Like you read it.
okay, so
like,
there's like 2 rows of panels on one page.
yeah.
Instead of going like panel, you go panel.
Okay. Is this an anime thing or is it a
It's a Japanese thing.
So all books are just like that, even without pictures?
Top to bottom, right to left.
So they're all books are in like even without pictures, just words.
I
like
don't know
middle
about that.
space.
I don't know. I haven't read like actual books really in Japanese, but I know in traditional writings, like if you look at like their scrolls and shit, then like yeah, like if you look at like old stuff.
So if they have a scroll, let's say it's I don't know 10 feet long.
Dude, I might also be kind of. I'm not 100% sure on the like top to bottom thing because it could also be bottom to top.
So,
I know it's vertically. I just don't know which.
So do you get like a different story every time you read it or something?
Yeah,
Like,
that's what's so fun.
because yeah, if you just don't know, like one day you read it this way and the other day you read it another way, and you tell someone about it and they're like, "That's not what I read."
Yeah.
Huh.
No, I'm just kidding. Contextually, you can notice contextually when you're reading it, but like,
So they're all just kind of feel it out.
yeah.
All right. Sure. I see why. Okay, I see why those would be specifically hard to get more than 4 chapters into. But once you figure it out, it's probably fine. So is it? You plan on getting to all of these other books
Well, it's mainly like
4 chapters at a time?
No, it's like if I'm starting a new book, I want to like get the general vibe of it, and then I'll like get to a point where I'm like, okay, like, is this what I want to commit to for this month, or do I want to commit to a different book? And then I'll like read the intro to another book. I'm like, nah. But with the comic book thing, that's like I'll just read that every now and again when I'm like want to look at some fun pictures and like have a fun story before bed. Like it's not like a focused thing that like muddles like other stories in my head. Like when you're like, I feel like when you're reading a bunch of books at the same time, a lot of times like you want to be able to focus on one story at a time, right?
Right.
So with the comic book stuff, it's almost more like a TV show that you like watch when you're like doing shit. You know, like it's like a before bed thing. Like I'll read it and it'll be funny, but it like doesn't actually weigh on my brain. Like it doesn't make me think about a story. Mm-hmm. So it's just kind of like fun reading, like carefree almost. Whereas like
some brain rot.
Yeah, exactly. Brain rot reading. And then like, whereas like when I'm starting a book, I'm like, I really want to like get into it. But also I don't know. I like reading a couple things at once and like taking breaks between stuff and coming back to stuff.
How long does it take you to finish a book?
It depends on the book and like how into it I am. Uh-huh. If I'm really into a book, I'll finish it in that fucking night. But like, if I'm like if I don't get like fully involved in it, like sometimes it takes a couple weeks, sometimes it takes a month. Like the Bob Saget book took me like a year to finish. Cause I like would read like 4 chapters and then I'd be like, all right, I'm kind of bored of this, Bob. And then I'd like go read another book or like 2 other books. And then I'd come back to it and be like, all right, I guess I'll read some more about Bob Saget's life.
So I get taking a while for like an autobiography because it's usually not one story throughout it.
Yeah, but I read a lot of autobiographies.
Yeah. But the other, it seems like just watching 25 minutes of a movie and then another 25 in a month or in a few, and it just seems, how do you...
I think of it more like you watch like 4 episodes of a TV show.
Each chapter is an episode?
Or like, maybe like a couple episodes. That's the nice thing about books is they're broken up into chapters. Like you can take a break and like go read something else and come back to it Like,
yeah, you can.
in the
I'm
same
just-
way that you would like a TV show. Like there's a break in the seasons or whatever, or like
I would think of a book as, especially a nonfiction, as a movie. Maybe like, yeah. And to me, that seems like a thing that's probably easier to get through one at a time, I think. Maybe it's also because I have trouble focusing on more than one story at a time. It's more impressive that you're able to just pause, next book, 4 chapters, pause. Like, that seems like it takes a lot more determination than just reading a book.
I just like it's the same thing that happens with like fucking interests and hobbies. It's like an ADHD thing, honestly, where it's like I just get uninterested in something after like being so hyper focused on it and like so into it, and then I'm like, okay, I need a fucking break from this. Like, and I need to go like do or read something else for a little bit. And then once I like kind of like cleanse my palate almost, I can be like, oh my god, I remember why I was so fucking into this book now. It was so good. Like, and then I'll get back into it.
Okay. Have you ever, like, you read your 4 chapters, set it down for a week, and then you're like, oh, fuck, you have that thought. I remember and then you go back and you're like, what did I like about this? And then you just,
Not really, no. I've never like actually like fully like just fucking come like if I come back to a book, usually it's that second when I come back, that's when I finish it. Like I'll read the first beginning of it and then I'll go take a break and then I'll come back and finish it off. But like it's pretty rare for me to like come back to a book and then just ditch it like completely and being like, oh yeah, this shit sucks. I'll eventually finish it. Like
yeah. I mean, it also, do you do that thing where when you get to near the end of a book that you really like?
I'll stop. I'll fucking stop. Yeah, if I'm on the last chapter of a book that I love, I will just fucking like throw it down, never come and not never, but it'll be like a while. It'll be like a year, maybe 2 before I'm like, oh yeah, I didn't read the last chapter of that because I didn't want the dream to end.
Probably gives you a lot of, stuff to look forward to, though. You always got something to do. There's always, eventually you'll have 20 books in your room with 10 pages left to read.
Exactly.
And then you'll be like, ah.
I'll just, yeah.
Closure.
Holy shit.
You're like, so many circles just got filled.
Yep.
Honestly, that seems like the move, is read 95% of like 100 books and then just spend one day reading, like just finding the answers to all of them.
Figuring them all out. Yeah, that is so clutch. I did that in school kind of a lot, like where I would like read really close to the end of books and then just not finish them, and then like a couple months later come back and be like, oh fuck, whoa.
Yeah.
All this talk of books made me have to pee really bad, so
Yeah, for sure. It makes sense. If you or a loved one were a book, what book would you be? Or your loved one? Personally, I feel like probably like a Diary of a Wimpy Kid. I've always felt like that kid. The drawing, not the movie. What's that kid? Zach Core. I don't think I'm like that kid. I think I'm like the drawing of Greg Heffley. That skinny little twig boy with the 3 hairs sticking out of his head. Yeah. I feel like I am those books. Sometimes I'm his little brother, the little guy with the beak. He opened the door to wash his hands. Is he doing that so that it like seems like he's washing his hands for a long time, so I hear him going, listen to how sanitary he's being right now. And now there's just a mystery buffer where I don't know what he could be doing. Where there was noise and now there isn't. but it's not that far of a walk to here, so that means he's probably doing something unnecessary. Okay, there he is. I was just talking about how if I were a book, I would be the Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
Oh, that
Not the movie,
Yeah.
not the kid, Zach Gordon or whatever, but like the drawing of the guy. That's what I feel like.
I loved those books when they first came out.
Yeah, they're pretty sick. They're still going strong, I'm pretty sure.
That's the craziest thing is like I feel like all the biggest children's books came out like when we were kids, you know, that are like still going. Like we got to experience Diary of a Wimpy Kid's release in like the first 2 books, like in like late elementary school, early middle school. Same with like Captain Underpants.
That was my 50 Shades.
Yeah. Dude, the Captain Underpants books were so sick because they all had like fun little shit in them, like the fucking detective cases and stuff, and like little, like, oh, do you remember? Did you ever read the oh my god, what's it called? It's like the Kid Spy series.
Alex Rider?
Yes,
Yeah.
dude. Alex Rider books were so sick.
Oh yeah, those ones were rad.
It's like fucking teenage James Bond.
I watched the Stormbreaker movie in the last like 2 or 3, like fairly recently. I watched it.
I remember it being pretty good, actually.
Yeah, it was dope.
Yeah.
It was super rad.
I remember that being like one of the only like book movies that I was like, as from my books as a kid, that I was like, that actually was cool. Like, because the Percy Jackson ones just pissed me the fuck off.
They just had cool stunts. They were like real. I don't know. They would go snowboarding and skydiving and
Yeah.
flippity doodads, and it was dope.
It was
eye
dope.
candy to me.
So this book is Reverend B.C. Bailey, Christmas 1950, from Woodruff and Eleanor.
What?
Great American nature writing.
Is this another 4 chapters in book?
This has... No, this is just one that I bought at a thrift store that I really like. That I'll just open up every now and again to...
To what?
Just to like flip to a
Jeez.
random little story and like read it, because it's just like a bunch of like different like writings from like naturalists of the 1800s and like early 1900s. It's like a lot of Henry David Thoreau and like John Muir and other fucking dudes like that and women like that.
I mean, all I see right now is some tasteful fonts. Looks nice to look at. So, I'm sure it's a fun read. Easy on the eyes. That book looks like it smells good.
It does. You want to smell it? It smells like old book.
It better. Gotta open it up,
Yeah.
Break its spine.
Be gentle.
I will. For now.
It's an old book.
2 legs too many. Look at
That's
that.
so
What-
good.
yeah,
That's a great way to...
Woo!
2 legs too many. Where was that, dude? That sounded like a great story.
I can find it again.
This one's called Alone
Dick Bird.
by Dick E. Bird. I stood at the trap door and watched the 2 citrons move away. Their red hoods, rounded canvas superstructures made a jaunty picture. June headed due north into the noon sun, so big and swollen, and so low in the sky that it could have well passed for a setting sun. In the cold air, the temperature was 50 degrees below zero. The exhaust vapor puffed up like a smoke screen, which a gentle northerly wind fanned out until much of the eastern horizon was obscured. I went below, intending to busy myself with the wind speed records, but the errand was a piece of self-deception which I could not quite bring off. For perhaps the only moment in my adult life I was conscious of being utterly at loose ends. The shack, which had seemed bright and cheery, was now neither. And, obeying an impulse which I had no time to be ashamed of, I rushed up to the hatch ladder. Just why, I don't know even now. Perhaps the last look at something alive and moving. Although the cars were by some distance away, I could still hear the beep-beep of the horns and the clatter of the treads. So clearly do sounds carry in that crystal air. An excerpt from Alone by Richard E. Bird.
That was boring as shit. Do you think Elphaba and Glinda ever scissored?
Yeah.
Me too. I like to think so. Do you think that wood crutch?
Pretty.
Yeah. That looks like money green.
It does look like money green. Ruby's books. I know you thrift. Fish.
Yeah. What's a notable story in there that you've read when you occasionally go to pick that up?
I've read all the like prologues from Henry David Thoreau on. They just have a few of his like classic essays on like where he's like, the woods are so quiet and we should respect them.
It really seems like you haven't read this book.
No, I haven't. No,
you very well might have, and it's been a while.
It's been a while. It's been a really long time.
But this just seemed like a way to look at deers and fishes and perhaps a crow.
In Saturn's reign, at nature's early birth, there was a thing called chastity on earth. When in a narrow cave, their common shade, the sheep, the shepherds, and their gods were laid. When reeds and leaves and hides of beasts were spread by mountain huswives for their homely bed, and mossy pillows raised for the rude husband's head, unlike the niceness of our modern dames. Affected nymphs with new affected names, the Cynthias and the Lesbias of our years. Those first unpolished matrons, big and bold, gave suck to infants of gigantic mold, rough as their savage lords who ranged the wood, and fat with acorns belched their windy food.
Do you think anyone's going to make a musical about JonBenet Ramsey?
Have they not already?
No.
Oh. Sorry.
Actually, it's not that far. It's not that weird of a question. There's an Anne Frank one, so.
Is that not something that they do in Sunny?
What?
Do they not write a musical about JonBenet Ramsey and Sunny?
Well, I don't think so, man.
Seems like something they would do.
What?
Seems like something that the gang in Always Sunny would do.
Maybe. It was my dad.
That's it.
I feel like that would be the big, like, Act 1 closing number right before the intermission.
Mm-hmm.
It would probably be, I don't know, Ava Noblezada. She'd probably be good. Maybe if they wanted some stunt casting, they could get Lady Gaga to play it. Just really bring the conspiracy to a full circle. You know what I mean?
Kind of.
There's a conspiracy theory that Lady Gaga is JonBenet Ramsey.
Oh, really?
They just have the same facial structure and stuff. And
how can they tell JonBenet Ramsey went like missing when she was like 3? Didn't she?
She didn't go missing. She
died?
She went dead.
Yeah, she went murdered,
Dead
kidnapped, and murdered.
Just murdered the shit out of her.
I thought she got kidnapped and like ransomed.
They found her.
I thought it was like a kidnapping, and then there was like a ransoming, and then like the parents like went to go pay the ransom or something, and then she came up dead, and then like there was this big thing that was like, oh, the parents actually just probably killed her from like mistreatment or something, and then did this whole like elaborate thing to like make it seem like she was kidnapped and murdered, so they didn't get in trouble for it.
I think there was a kidnapping, like a fake thing, but I think that what made it a conspiracy is that they found her like in their house, like in their basement.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, but I just feel like someone should sing about it. I think somebody could really unearth a lot of things with a good dance number.
I think that's true. I think that's true with anything.
Yeah.
Just look at Hamilton.
It made me realize how cool our founding fathers actually were.
Yeah.
It was a lot more diverse than I thought it was.
Those guys could rap.
Yep. Yep. And turns out every white guy back in the day was just kind of a dork and would die. Guess we're done talking about that now.
Sorry. We don't have to be done. I mean, there could just be background music to conversation. I mean, you listen to music while you read your books. Why can't there be a little bit of like background music to a conversation on a podcast?
Because the half that's playing the music also has to listen to the conversation going on. And I
point.
know that's tough for both of us.
That's a good point.
If there was just nice music. Also, I listen to music that's generally correct.
Listen, man, there's no correct or incorrect when it comes to art.
Close. There are incorrect.
No.
But there's no corrects.
No, so then
yeah, there's like a lot of right ways, or no, there's no right way to do it, but there's a lot of wrong ways.
If there's no right way, then how are there wrong ways?
No, there's a lot of right ways. Endless right ways.
You just said there's no right ways, but there's a lot of wrong ways.
No, like singular right way, like not one path to.
So then how are there wrong ways?
Because it's art.
Doesn't seem wrong to seems like there are no wrong ways.
I think there
Seems
are.
like there's only ways.
There's unauthentic art, or I wouldn't even call it art. There's,
Then that's
let's
not
say,
art.
Well,
If you wouldn't call it art, then it's not art. And then,
if it's art that I didn't make, I can call it art. But like then I'll call it art or not call it art. But if it's like, it's mostly if somebody said something they were doing was art, and then you see that it's not a artsy thing. I don't know. I think if it's not honest, it's not art. If it's not, yeah, I don't know. I feel like art, especially like good art that people know, usually comes from a real honest place, and there's especially nowadays a lot that isn't that. Those are the wrong ways, but they're labeled as art. Let's take music for example. There's a lot of wrong ways to do music, or is it still out there? Yeah, but
why is it a wrong way to do it?
Because there's a lot of music that's like, let's say like the easiest ways for the money.
Okay, but that's not like, that's like a reason for doing it. That's not like a way of doing it though. Like you specifically said that the way that I play music is wrong.
I did not say that you're
is
doing it wrong.
What you said basically, and like.
Okay, I listened to fucking songs. I said
Exactly.
My words were I listened to correct music.
Yes.
And yeah, okay, if you really want to get, you could be like, yeah, you're making sounds, and it could be music for sure. But like, even you know damn well you don't know what you're playing.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean that it's not music, or that it's wrong, a wrong way to make music. In fact, I would say that the most music and songs come from people just fucking playing shit that they don't know what the fuck they're playing. They're just trying to make it sound nice, and then they're like, oh shit, that was it. And then they do it again.
Yeah, that part's the art, I think.
Okay.
But just banging around on a thing.
But that's what it is, just banging around on the thing, but just like doing it in a way that like hopefully you make a nice sound and it sounds good. How's that doing music incorrectly?
Because I was talking, probably.
Okay.
Because it was at the expense of somebody else who didn't ask for it.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Ting, ting, ting.
All right.
I think. I don't fucking know either. I could be wrong. I'm waking up, right my brow with my sweat and my rust. This is it. The apocalypse. Ooh, whoa.
Right or wrong?
I don't know. What do you think?
Right or wrong?
Well, wrong because you're doing it for my approval.
How do you know that?
Because you asked me.
How do you know that I'm looking for your approval and not just your opinion?
Because you asked me if it's right or wrong, which means there's like an absolute.
No, because you said that there's a right way and a wrong way.
No. I said
to
there's.
music.
I said
And
there's
so I'm
wrong
asking
ways.
what
There's a
you
lot of
think
right
is
ways.
wrong, and what you think is right.
No, that's a you. It's your art is up to you. Do you think? Is it real to you? Is it?
Is it real to you? It's up to you.
Well, I think it sounds like sounds you're making.
No, I know. So that's what you just said though. So like then how is it ever a wrong way if it's up to the person who's doing it?
Because I see what you mean.
And like when I'm asking you right or wrong, I'm not asking for your opinion. I'm saying like
You said.
you said, or not your. I'm not asking for your approval. I'm asking for your opinion because of what you said. How there is a
My
wrong
opinion, I
way
don't
to
think
go
has to
about
do with
it,
wrong or right.
and a lot of right ways to go about it. So I just want to know like what like why is it when I fucking bang on it, it's wrong. But when anybody else does that maybe has like maybe a little bit more like recall knowledge or like ability to recall something or like just knowledge on like musical fucking composition, it's the right way.
Okay, dude. So this is an example of like when I try to do a silly little thing and you get like this like defensive, like trying to overcorrect my little correction of just like, I said I like listening to correct music because at the end of the day, you were just banging on the fucking xylophones. Mm-hmm. It's a little jab, and it seems like you took it a little bit personally, and now we're like, well, then what's right, what's wrong? And I'm trying to, yes, there's a lot of right ways to do it, but also I think that, yes, there's bad, wrong art that I think is technically labeled as art, but it's done for the wrong reasons, whatever the fuck, I don't know. Yes, it's technically art, you're banging on the thing, having fun. That's awesome, man. But like, goodness gracious, I just thought it was a funny sentence to say I listen to correct music.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's really fucking cool.
Okay.
But also, yeah, I think the xylophone is fucking distracting, and it seems like a thing that you do when you think there's going to be a lull in the conversation.
That's pretty true.
And so it comes across as just, I guess we're done talking now. Ding, 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 ding. And it's like, now it just really stops any momentum if we had any at all.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Fair.
Right or wrong.
Fair. I don't know. I was less offended and getting defensive of the fact that like that, but it's more just the general concept of like what art is, I guess. And yeah, I don't know. I just thought it was an interesting.
It was the first like 100 times, I'm sure.
Okay.
But like, I think we both know this has really changed. That's why I think I was so surprised at the beginning. I was like, fucking, you play the thing all the time, but this one sounded like something.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's because like a lot of times I'm just like tapping like 3 notes as we go through the podcast, and you've never actually heard me try to play anything.
That was you trying?
Not really, just like actually like not.
Try to play something then. Show me you really trying. Also, why are you not trying whenever you play it in front of me?
Because we're in a podcast.
Right, so try.
Silly shit that I'm doing as a transition, and I'm literally.
So why
just
don't you
doing like
try?
like that's all I've been doing, and so you're like, oh yeah, no wonder that doesn't sound like a song because it's 3 notes.
Also, it's never a quick little thing. You play it for a long time.
Okay.
So I don't understand why you don't try. I haven't seen that before.
I don't know, dude. I just like to tap around on things and make notes in things.
Yeah.
And sometimes I do it well and sometimes I do it bad. And that's fucking life.
Yeah, it is.
I just like to have fun with it.
I don't know. I think you do it as a nervous tick. As like you think you're nervous about where the conversation's going, so you get uncomfortable, and then you play that it's like a silly little. It's like telling a joke when someone's being like, it breaks the tension, I guess.
I think it's more I just get, tick, maybe. Nervous tick, I don't think so. I think it's more of just like there's something there that I just like to tap on shit and make little noises on stuff. And I would be doing it on my legs if the xylophone wasn't there. Or I would be doing it on the table. Or I would it's just something that, yeah.
Okay. And that's fair. But it's also like, it's a podcast. We've been doing this for a while. We can switch some shit up.
Okay. That's fair.
We can always be trying a little.
I mean,
you said I never saw you try till just now. It seems like you're maybe getting content with like that, and so maybe when it starts to get to an uncomfortable place, you're like, well, this music thing's new enough, let's do that. But like, if we're gonna get better at conversing and stuff, we gotta converse.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I just feel like it's just silly stuff that I'm doing in the same sense of like you being like, oh, I just thought it was a silly sentence.
Yeah. And then I move on and I'll do another different silly sentence. I'm not going to keep saying the same silly sentence over and over.
Okay.
You try it and then you move on to the next thing. We're not going to just beat the same bit into the ground forever.
Okay. I mean, I just like tapping on the fucking xylophone between stuff.
But it hardly is ever between stuff. It's like an interruption when you do it.
Okay.
And then you just do it and you like stare at me, and it's then that leaves me like, what? Like,
all right. I mean, I guess we
got to think about each other. This is it's a back and forth, not a one person trying to like win the we got to help each other to get to the top of the mountain.
I feel that, but I also feel like you don't entirely follow that as well.
Like what?
Like with the fucking dice thing, and like with other ideas that like I'll have and that you will
that's because a lot of these ones,
or like just not even give any thought or energy into, because either A, like I didn't come fucking like with a outline of exactly whatever the fuck and like, yeah, but like that's the majority of this podcast is just us riffing. So like, why can't we riff on something like a new game, or like a fucking, a xylophone bit, or like, I don't know, the book, or like, why is it always like
we did riff on a lot of those except for the dice.
It feels like a lot of like times it's just like fucking, you're doing this like character, quote unquote, of like, the one who, and that we like, kind of like did talk about this at the beginning of like starting the podcast, where like, yeah, it's like we're gonna be like these two like, burdenery type almost, like, one person is more like sarcastic and like snarky, and one person is more like less like more just fun and dumb and stuff or whatever. And like, it's kind of like in my mind the same thing as, you being like, well, do something different. Don't do the xylophone thing all the time. Like, and it's like, I've done this maybe like for less than 100 episodes.
Well, yeah. Okay. But you've also done the last like 10.
Okay. But like, is it really so like bad to have like one little thing that you do consistently that like is like kind of a thing, or like a reoccurring like element in a weekly show that, we're doing?
No. And if I told you not to do it, I've just told you I think it's annoying. You can keep doing it, and if we're gonna keep the dynamic that we were talking, then yeah, fucking keep doing it, and I'll just keep commenting on it.
Yeah.
But to go back to the me not wanting to yes and the dice thing, we could bring that back even more to the reason why I was hesitant with the Patreon thing. It's kind of the same reason where you brought out this thing that took a lot of work and you went right into saying, here's what we should do. And you were doing that with the Patreon thing, saying we should do more high production, high quality stuff. But in all honesty, and I think I told you, it was when I hear that sentence, all I'm hearing is Max can do it.
Okay.
Because I haven't seen I feel like whenever I have like a bit like that planned, I'll prepare something to where if you were here or not, I could like fucking at least present it in a thing. And this seems like just you typed a sentence of an idea into your phone and we're just like, it's good. And it's like, it can be, but like if you have a bit, like have a, somewhat of a outline.
Yeah. And I understand that fully. And there have been things that I have an outline for, like the Patreon stuff. I have outlines for that, all in the Google Drive that I've written up years ago for like the tiered systems and for like what kind of content we could do. And like when I say we, I do mean we, because I do want to work together on that shit. I don't mean like, oh, I'll just make Max fucking edit everything. Like, and I've literally asked you, and we there was like a 2-week, 3-week period of time where like the videos were going into the drive and then I was like getting in cuts and then sending them back to you, and then they stopped being uploaded into the drive.
Yes, because it fucking takes forever.
Exactly. It takes forever. I get that. That's why I would really, and I know that you don't like editing with people and working with people on that shit. And that's, been like, kind of like, dude, like I will do videos if you ask me to do videos, like, but you don't. You just do it on your own, and then you like say, well, when you say we, like it makes me think that you mean all Max, and it's like, no, dude, I mean we, and I will work on stuff with you, but
okay, well, let's think of it like this. When you say we're gonna make like a high quality sketch or something, if you're gonna say I want like at least not even a final draft, like a script, like you can have the tiers whatever for the official whatever stuff for Patreon, but like if you want to make like a short film, like I don't want to just hear we're going to make a short film. Like, do you have an idea for one? Or is it like, I don't want like just a sentence in your phone, like a guy goes to the dentist and the dentist takes his shoes. Like,
yeah,
I need like
that.
something to show that like you've more than just, here's an idea. Cause that's when it feels like, I guess I'll run with it.
No, I get that. And I have like scripts and stuff for skits.
So show me one.
And this is the other thing though, that I would like to like, also, just there's some things that I'll say like we should do this as just like a short 15-second skit, like stuff that we can do like at that moment, and like I need to get better at being like, we should do this now, like we should, like this idea is fresh, we should just fucking stand up and film this on our phones, right? Like if it's a 15-second thing with no lines or with one line, like, and either one of us has an idea like that, like we should just do that then, right? So that we can put it out there. And that's like some of the stuff I want to do.
I haven't seen any of that though. Like write it out and show me.
Okay, I will.
But like I do not want just, I have an idea where a fucking garbage man falls in the lake. Like
no, I
need a store, like a more than just an idea.
Yeah, I know.
And that's when I'm down to like collaborate and I'll sit down with you. But if it's just, let's sit down and figure a thing out, I'm just like, no, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I get that.
That's a waste of time for both of us.
I get that. I also think that there is like a very, like, it's not a waste of time if to like writer's room something.
For you maybe, but it's also goes, we have different writings. I have different ways that I write and I just don't do it. Like I'm more of a, I'll write the thing and then I'll show it to you later and then we can go, but I'm not just going to, what do you think? John gets in the car or do you think John locks his keys in the car? Like,
that's not really what I mean. I mean, it's more of like,
I'm not saying I'm not down to collab, but it's like we have different styles and I feel like I'm being pretty clear on on my process to where then I would like somebody else's input on it.
But you've like never like asked for my input on anything like that, or like
don't
brought
want it.
me anything. Okay.
I don't. It's.
But like, that's the thing. Like, do you not want to do other type of content with Pretty Good or with me, or like, is it just you don't?
Well, it's like I know to make good we need more than just the two of us.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of logistical stuff that is hard to figure out, especially with zero budget. It takes a while, and maybe if stand-up and a few other things weren't eating up a lot of my time, I could bust out more film shit. But it's also just like I'm getting to what I can when I can.
Yeah, I feel that. I don't know. I just, when I say we, I don't mean you. I mean we. And I want to do more things together. And like, whether that's fucking short ass fucking skits where it's literally just like not even that insane production, goofy, whatever. It's literally just like funny little relatable fucking things that like maybe come up in conversation that I have written down, you know, or that like the other day there's one that I can specifically think of where it was like something, I can't remember exactly what I said, but it would have been like a really fun, just like quick, like 15-second video that we could have just filmed. And, you know, I didn't say like, let's do that now, which I could have, but you know, it's like those moments when we're upstairs, like riffing and stuff and just hanging out and like something funny is said, like we could totally just like film a quick thing. You know, you don't need like a big ass script and a fucking thing to.
You do need a script though, and that's what I'm like. All this sounds like so far. Just yeah, we have the idea, but like we need to be a little bit more like put a little like thought into it outside of the yeah like it's just we can say what if we film this, what if we film that, and but it's if you just put a little time into like having a presentable like idea, then it just makes it that much easier.
No, I get that.
And then it also comes to both of us respecting how we both work on things. And you can ask me to write how you'd like me to write all you want, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to because I don't do it like that.
That's not like, that's not, I don't know. I'm not explaining myself well.
Okay.
And it's making it come off not how I want it to.
All right.
And yeah, but I will definitely bring more ideas actually written out to the table